Chapter 1 of Juju. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by David Wales. Juju by Murray Leinster. Chapter 1, An African Night. From the Juju house the witch-doctor emerged, bedaubed with colored earths and bright ashes. The drums renewed their frantic, resounding thunder. The torch-bearers capered more actively and yelled more excitedly. The drumming had gone on all day, and its hypnotic effect had culminated in a species of ecstasy in which the blacks yelled and capered and yelled, without any clear notion of why or what they yelled. With great solemnity the witch-doctor led forward a young native girl, her face bedaubed with high juju signs. She was in the last stage of panic. If she did not flee, it was because she believed a worse fate awaited her flight than if she submitted to whatever was in store for her now. Two men stepped forward and threw necklaces of magic import about her neck. Two other men, who upon occasion acted as the assistants of the chief witch-doctor, seized the girl's hands. The shouting mass of blacks formed themselves into a sort of column. At the front were the drums, those incredible native drums hollowed out of a single log, and which come from the yet unknown fastnesses of the darkest interior, far back of Lake Chad. Behind them came the torch-bearers, yelling a rhythmic chant, and capering in almost unbelievable attitudes as they passed along. Next came the witch-doctor, important and mysterious. Behind him came more torch-bearers, yelling hysterically at the surrounding darkness. Then came the two assistants, dragging the young girl, who was almost paralyzed with terror. And the entire population of the village followed in their wake, carrying flaming lights and yelling at the eternally unamazed African forest. The tall, dank tree trunks loomed mysteriously above the band of vociferous natives, with their thumping, rumbling, booming drums sounding hollowly from the front of the procession. The lights wound into the forest, deep into the unknown and unknowable bush. The yelling became fainter, but the drums continued to boom out monotonously through the throbbing silence of the African night. Boom, 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 boom. Never a variation from the steady beat, though the sound was muted by the distance it had to travel before reaching us. I glanced across to where Evan Graham sat smoking. We were on the veranda of the casa on his plantation, 4 weeks' march from the city of Takao, in the province of Takao, Portuguese West Africa. From the veranda we could see through the cleared way to the village, a half-mile away, and the whole scene of the Juju procession had been spread before our eyes like a play. It puzzled me. I knew Evan made no faintest attempt to Christianize his slaves, and the villagers were surely his slaves. And yet white men do not often allow witch-doctors to flourish in their slave quarters. And the girl who had been led away, I had no idea what might become of her. Voodoo still puts out its head in strange forms, in strange places. It might well be that some hellish ceremony would take place far back in the bush that night. Whatever was to happen had been planned long before, because I had arrived some 4 hours previously from a trip up beyond the Hungry Country, and the drums were beating then. I looked curiously at Evan to see what he thought of the open practice of juju by his slaves under their masters' eyes. His expression was inscrutable. I knew better than to ask questions, but I could not help wondering what it all meant. Evan was a queer sort, at best, but to allow his natives to practice black magic, as was evidently the case here, before his very nose, was queerer than anything he had done before. He was not taken by surprise, I know. I had heard the drums that afternoon, long before I entered the village. They were beating with the rhythmic monotony that is so typical of the African when he is disturbed in spirit and wants to be comforted, or when he is comfortable and wants excitement. Either way will do. My boys, wandering along in a more or less listless fashion with the conventional 45 pounds on their backs, had heard the drumming and became more interested. My caravan did not close up, however. It was spread out over anywhere
Sample complete. Ready to continue?